Have you ever had that moment where you know exactly what you should be doing, but somehow you're still lying in bed, scrolling your phone, telling yourself, I'll start in 5 minutes? And then 5 minutes becomes 30, 30 becomes 2 hours, and now you don't just feel lazy, you feel guilty. But here's the part most people never realize. Maybe you're not actually lazy. Maybe your brain has just learned that avoiding discomfort feels safer than taking action. Because think about it. Most of the time, you're not avoiding the task itself. You're avoiding the feeling that comes before the task, the boredom, the uncertainty, the fear of failing, the pressure of knowing you might not do it perfectly. That's why cleaning your room suddenly feels impossible. Studying feels heavy. Going to the gym feels like climbing a mountain. But somehow, watching one more video feels effortless. So let me ask you something. Do you think laziness is a real personality trait? Or is it just a habit your brain builds when life starts feeling overwhelming? Comment your honest answer. Because I think a lot of people are blaming themselves for something they never learned how to manage. The mistake most people make with self-discipline is they think discipline means forcing yourself to feel motivated. But disciplined people don't always feel motivated. They just don't let their feelings make every decision. That's a big difference. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll probably wait forever. Because motivation usually comes after action, not before it. You don't feel like working out, then suddenly become disciplined. You put on your shoes first, you move for 2 minutes, then your brain starts to catch up. You don't feel like writing the essay. You open the document, you write one bad sentence, then another, and slowly, the resistance gets weaker. Here's the truth. Self-discipline is not built by doing huge things once. It's built by doing small things when you don't feel like doing them. And that sounds simple, but it changes everything. Because most people set the starting line way too high. They say, I need to clean my whole apartment. No wonder your brain says no. Instead, say, I'll pick up 5 things. They say, I need to study for 3 hours. Of course you avoid it. Instead say, I'll study for 2 minutes. They say, I need to change my whole life. That's too much pressure. Instead, ask, what is the next tiny action I can do right now? Now, some people will hear this and say, that's too easy. That won't change anything. But here's the controversial part. Maybe trying harder is not always the answer. Maybe making it easier to start is actually smarter. Because the version of you who starts for 2 minutes is already more disciplined than the version of you who waits all day for motivation. So here's what I want you to try. The next time you feel lazy, don't argue with yourself. Don't give yourself a motivational speech. Don't say, I need to fix my life. Just say, I only have to start. Put the phone across the room. Open the laptop. Put on the shoes. Wash one dish. Read one page. Do the smallest version of the thing. Because once you start, you create evidence. Evidence that you're not stuck. Evidence that you can act even when you don't feel perfect. And over time, that evidence becomes identity. You stop saying, I'm lazy, and you start saying, I'm the kind of person who starts anyway. So here's my question for you. What's one thing you've been avoiding? Not because it's impossible, but because starting feels uncomfortable. Be honest in the comments. Because someone else is probably avoiding the exact same thing. And remember this, you don't build discipline by waiting for laziness to disappear. You build discipline by starting so small that laziness doesn't get a vote.